the funny thing is, like, I film a lot, rehearsals, but I don't have a lot of time to watch them. So somehow I used to watch them much more, and now I film as much, but I just don't watch it anymore. So I feel like I'm filming it almost to psychologically help me think like I've got a video recording of that one, but somehow I'm just I almost video record it with my mind. Like, I have a very, very good memory, so I just remember. So I don't have to, I could recheck certain things for spacing, but in general, my mind becomes the video recorder. Working with Wim van de Keibus, Wim's been very used to, I mean, he was almost like a photographer and filmmaker before being a choreographer. So he really studied that. So for him, it's normal and organic to mix the two. I'm much more of I don't use technology that much, even though I'm not afraid of it. It's more like it's not part of my theater culture, or I just see theater differently. So I just feel like, also I see so many people using it really well. I wouldn't know how to use it better than a couple of people that I saw. So I'm like, that's fine. It works for them, but for me, it's I'm happy with doing what I'm doing, and if I ever get to it again, it's great. It was a nice experience with Wim, but it was his experience also. It was what he needed to do and what he wanted to do with it, and it's fascinating to watch a creator do this. So I worked with Gilles Delmas on an installation which is like a house. It's like a house where you cannot get in. It has walls made of, and from inside it projects people, dancers I worked with, in their own home dancing. So they're actually moving and telling a story within their own house. So, but because it's a house, you have rooms, and so some people are in the living room, some people are in the bathroom, some people are in the kitchen, and we put it all together and created one big house where all my friends, all the dancers, there are 21 dancers that I worked with over Europe. So some people from and beyond, some people from the Monaco Ballet, some people from Tilburg Ballet, the dancers I work with a lot. They are all in this house, and it was very, very, very nice to work with Gilles Delmas, who has such a great eye on movement, to work with certain dance materials that we've done before. Also, sometimes we did improvisations, and then we assembled everything and created a big mosaic. The project was really about home and about where is your, what is immigration today and how do we relate to it. And what was interesting is that you had some people from Brazil being at home in Monaco in this house, which was then put in Paris. So you get a sense of really home is where your feelings are, where your emotions are, where your heart is. And for me, that house was my home, because it was the dancers I cared about and I loved to work with, and they were all inside this house, and it was a bit like a temple also for me. It became like, you could go around it a bit like the Kasbah, you could just walk around. What I also liked about this project, this video project, was that there was no time frame. So it's not like a performance where you have to come in, you have to watch it, applaud, and go out. Here you can go in and out and in and out. This house was living, breathing, whether I was there or not as an audience, and you could just step into it whenever you wished. There was a loop of 1 hour, 20 minutes of dance material that kind of gave us a portrait of each individual dancer and their relationship with home. In general, what I like is very long sequences of where it just keeps on following the motion. So you really feel like you are like a hypnotization, like you're hypnotized. You're hypnotized, and the movement just follows you, and you follow the movement, and you feel like there's no escape. Cuts, Yeah, they take away something for me, and they can work in certain things when they are rhythmically well chosen. For instance, in Rosas dans Rosas of Thierry Demey, I think his way of cutting within the musical frame is fantastic. But it can also be, yeah, sometimes too much to cut the movement into pieces and to lose the flow, the energy flow. Well, the thing is, when I work, for instance, with someone who's going to film a project that I did, they really need to have a lot of information about the show, about the performance, but also they need to almost know the choreography by heart. So when for instance a movement goes, that it doesn't go out of the camera, but that somehow the camera can actually follow everything, that it just knows where it's going. So I had a great experience filming Foix for the ZDF television, and I was working with this great guy Andreas, who used to actually filming theater. But that was good for this piece because it's quite a theatrical piece. But then sometimes it was too static, but we had 5 cameras, so I was allowed to follow, to guide one camera. And it was so nice because I could really guide it for all the dance sequences, the moments of dance where I knew now she's going to jump and she's going to roll into the left, that the camera knows and can play with the fact of knowing. So you could delay, you could go with, you could give before and it comes on. But these things, you have to study, I think, the choreography much more, and then it can be interesting again. I think I would love to once be able to direct a movie or a movement movie, because the thing is, like, I don't see difference between dance, theater, or singing, or acting, or text, or for me it's all the same. So I can't really say like, oh, I'd love to direct a dance movie, because it could be just a movie. Like I'm interested in storytelling, and those are the things. I just think it asks a lot of knowledge, and I trust my intuition, but I think I still would need to learn a lot about it in order to do it properly. But for instance, working with people like Gilles Delmas, or people that I really trust, that I feel good with, that they can understand my intuitions, they can understand my relationship to the image, then I'm fine with co-directing, or, you know, as long as the project gets done, I don't mind sharing the responsibility, actually.